we're coming up into Centerville. This is the original heart of what was Butte City before the turn of the 1900s. Okay, there used to be the St. George's Hall set on these corners here. These are habitat houses we're coming up on here now, but these was their mercantile and everything was on here when these things. I think one of them caught fire. Then where you see down on Main Street down there, which is the Metals Bank building, all the major cities or major buildings in Butte moved down about 6 blocks, and that became the city center down there. But this area right here was all Centerville. Okay. Right here, as you look at it, this is Gallus frame.
Okay.
Okay. You see at the very top of it, there's 2 large pulleys on top.
Yeah.
Okay. The way they bring the ore up and down out of it, and the men up and down out of the mines, there'd be a hoist house here, which I don't believe that's a hoist house for that particular mine. It'd be another building set out here, and you'd have a hoistman. Those cables would run up and go into the shafts. The shafts, and the men and the ore would ride in the same cars. At the beginning of the shift, the men, they would get 11 men in each one of those cars, and they were usually like a triple-decker ore car. And they would lower them down into the shafts, and then they would get off on each station. After they dumped the ore into the skip, then they would bring it to the surface. It would get up. I say a lot of this structure here is missing off of this Gallus frame, but after the ore car got up above in there, it would hit a trip, and the ore would dump out of the skip into a rail car, and then it would head towards the smelter in Anaconda.
Okay.
This is a memorial to the speculator Granite Mountain fire. It's the largest underground hard rock mining disaster in the United States still today. 168 men lost their lives here.
Go ahead.
In 1917, the Butte Miners Union and organized labor in Butte was in shambles. All the mines had been incorporated under one company, originally under the Amalgamated Copper Company, and then it later became the Anaconda Company. The union had all kinds of internal problems, and the mine owners had complete control over the mines, who was hired, who got to work, who didn't. And in June of that year, there was a horrible mining accident at the speculator mine, Granite Mountain Mine. 168 miners died in that fire in the mines, and the whole town was thrown into disarray. In July, an individual arrived in Butte on the train. His name was Frank Little, and he was an agent with the Industrial Workers of the World. He was here just a little over 2 weeks, but in that period of time, he had incited all kinds of actions and activities in the city. The miners were wanting to be recognized. Mr. Little was not also only talking about the mines and the miners, he was also a very outspoken critic of the United States entering into World War I. On August 1st of 1917, 6 masked men broke into his boarding house, beat him, dragged him out, tied him to the bumper of a car. They drug him around the streets of Butte, then untied him, threw him in the car, took him to the outskirts of town, where they hung him on a train trestle and killed him. That so incensed the miners that they just started banding together and putting their personal differences aside, and they made a martyr out of him.
The Trades and Labor Assembly included the following logos: the Butte Miners Union, the Butte Barbers Union, the Bakery and Confectionery Workers, the Butchers Union, the Bartenders Union, the Brewery Workers Union, the Blacksmiths Union, Butte Clerks Union, the Boilermakers Union, the Electrical Workers number 65, Butte Stationary Engineers, elevator contractors, hotel and restaurant employees, general laborers, the hod carriers and building laborers, the bridge and structural iron workers, the laundry workers, the librarians. The first unionized librarian workers were here in Butte. The latherers, the machinists, the musicians, painters and paper hangers, general pipe fitters, ministerial association, pavers, Butte Teachers Union, women's telephone operators, and those ghosts still haunt us in our current location, which is the old Mountain Bell building where the library lives now. Stage employees, typographical union, the Women's Protective Union, the Working Man's Union, Streetcar Men's Union, the Firefighters Union, the Plumbers and Steam Fitters, and Printing Press, and the Tailors Union. All of these unions were either founded or represented here in Butte. It's a proud heritage we have. It's a great day to celebrate.
Working men are poor, will be forevermore, as long as you permit the few to guide your destiny. Shall we still be slaves, work for wages? It is outrageous, has been for ages. This earth by right belongs to toilers and not to spoilers of liberty.
As I went walking that ribbon of highway, I saw above me that endless skyway. I saw below me that golden mountain.